Being a little quiet lately because the A's situation to Las Vegas has been kind of insane. And uh, here's the reality check, unfortunately, that I know I don't want to say, and I know you don't want to hear. The A's are gone. I mean, I'm just gonna try and make peace with that right now. The A's are done. There's no way Vegas doesn't do this. There's no way. Uh, we've seen it with the Raiders. I mean, it's all the same stuff. Everything you think that should have gone wrong still goes their way. Oh, they shouldn't vote for this. Well, they're gonna vote for it. Oh, they shouldn't do it this. They're gonna do it. They don't. They don't give a flying fuck about fans here. They're gonna make their own new fans. They're gonna think we're all gonna show up. Whatever. It doesn't matter what we think or economists think or some other guy on the other side of the country thinks. We saw all this bad press and everything else with the Raiders, and it didn't budge a damn thing. It's just the reality of it, and I hate having to say it because, you know, people were like, what about the fans and the memories we've made here and blah blah blah. I'm like, if they gave a flying fuck about the fans, we wouldn't be in this position in the first place. They would just done what they were going to do, and we had a ballpark years ago, and things were going to happen. They don't give a fuck about the fans. They never did. That's why they get rid of the players. That's why they let the Coliseum fall into the disarray that it is. They brought it back. They did a lot of great things in like 2016, 17, 18, especially when Dave Cavill came along. They shined up the place a little bit. But, and that brought fans. They brought fans. You can't argue about that. Not all of us, not 35,000, but that's the reality. But it was on the uptick. They don't care about the fans. They cared about the money. It was all it was about. They cared about the money. And in Las Vegas, they're going to bend over backwards and then some to make it happen for them. And let's talk about the money. Let's really be honest about it. This is not much different than what they're going to do in Oakland. It's not. The financing that they're doing, they're creating a tax district which is going to pay into the loan, the bond that they get. Yeah, technically the bond is public money, but it's being paid back with money that's derived or generated by the ballpark. That's what they were going to do here. Now the difference is they've had to move things around. Okay, 500 million, probably not a great deal. I don't know what really fell through with the Wild Wild West site. Why that wasn't feasible. Why they backed out of that one. They didn't think they're going to get the 500 million. It's not a whole lot more than 395 million. And I'm pretty sure they'll probably screw everybody else and do that too. I mean, but in this situation, which is weird, is they don't own the land. They're essentially renters. There's the way I understand it. If you are a renter, you're not paying the tax. You're not paying property tax if you're a renter. That's on Bally's, and I'm sure they have some scheme to pay the property taxes and everything else. I don't know how that works. Zennie's a better guy to ask. But the reality is, it's not a whole lot different. And, the same, it's funny that we're crying about these problems that are happening. Oh, well, there's education and stuff. We're hypocrites for saying that shit because we don't want them to take our team. I get that, but that's the reality of it. We're hypocrites, though. We're absolutely. Because what we want that, I mean, the only way that this works for any of us to not be hypocrites is for them to be stuck in Oakland and then having to sell the team. Otherwise, we're stuck with John Fisher and Dave Cavill and all the rest of these guys. As for Billy Beane, he's complicit. He is an owner. I don't believe he's an active major league office guy now. I believe he's now just a consultant, but he's an owner nonetheless. So I've seen some people asking, what about Billy Beane? Where is he in all this? He knows. Billy Beane has been strapped with bad owners for 25 plus years. So yeah, Billy Beane knows that these guys are cheapskates. He knows that they're going to be bad for whatever happens next. So, you know, if he's not standing up, he needs to sell his stake in the team, or he's just complicit. He's just going along with whatever they say. For a guy that has his reputation, I think that's kind of a sad tale, but that's what it is. You know, GMs are usually, you know, hard. You know, they're usually, hey, we don't really care about the feelings. These are the facts, and this is what it is. But we don't see him in the media either. We haven't seen Cavill in a while, except on Vegas TV, and we've not seen Fisher in years. I don't think. Nobody can get an interview. Nobody can get anything with him. So there's not a whole lot that keeps the A's here. The other thing is, if you guys watch Zennie's absolutely right. They fucked up by never creating any sort of a stadium authority like they have in Las Vegas, which is part of the whole 293 Skinner package, which was, you know, how you lay out a financial district, a tax district. You have to have like this basically like a board of governors or a similar sort of situation who runs the project. You know, they account for the monies, and that should have happened under Libby. That should have happened almost immediately. Honestly, this would have gotten a lot further. And then again, now I'm asking, it's like, where are the other partners in all this? In Las Vegas, and just in a matter of weeks, they've rallied numerous businesses to partner with them. I mean, it's probably a little easier in Las Vegas because all these guys are land developers. You know, they're building casinos. They got more than one. They're large entities with money to expand their casinos and buy new properties and, you know, build hotels. But I'm like, but there's nobody here. Hell, they had a guy in their own organization, but that guy got out, which was Lou Wolf. I'm like, but there's nobody else here. There's no development partner that they could have got in with here. I feel like probably they didn't try, or maybe other people knew their reputation and didn't come to them. But I think Vegas is so what's the word I'm looking for? They're like excited kids. They'll ask you for shit even if they don't need it. You know, it's like they know that even if the answer is no, they're still going to go out of their way to ask. You know, and when it comes to making money, I mean, that's what they do. That's what they do. It's just a sad state. The fact is, there's nothing that tells me that this is going to fail unless they have somebody somewhere saying, hey, don't do this because we're going to get our own expansion team. That's not happening. And if that's not coming from, almost said Roger Goodell, if that's not coming from the commissioner, if that's not coming from a well-moneyed source that wants to be the head of that new team, or at least head of the group that brings this team in, it's not going to happen. Otherwise, you're going to take the deal that's on the table, and that's the only deal on the table. There is no A's or expansion. They don't have that option right now. It's only the A's. Expansion might come to the table if they kill the A's deal, But why would you kill this deal before this other, without knowing that there's another deal on the table? There's no point. There's no reason to do it. It's just the reality. Again, the reality check. There's nobody. Which this guy would either can drive his forklift away or turn it off because he's just sitting there just pumping the gas. Again, the reality check is we've seen this all before in Las Vegas with the Raiders. Every time a vote comes up, you think that should go one way, it goes the opposite. Maybe they have some random great luck that because I think the vote's going to go the A's way, that maybe it'll go the other way. I don't know. These things are impossible to judge because everything we thought to be true with the Raiders was opposite. There was never it just felt like it never went Oakland's way. Everything went for them because these guys rally around each other to pick each other up. They've got like teamwork going on, and even though they're different entities, they work together. Oakland doesn't have that. You have a at least in the last, well, no, you have it in this administration too. You had Libby, who had her own agenda. You have the various council members who have their own agendas, which are counter to the agenda of Libby Schaaf. And now we have a new mayor who, I don't know, things seem to be falling apart with her. Got no police chief, got no fire chief. We already had a school strike. Apparently that's over now. Hopefully that all works out. They have an agreement. But it's just like, it's one thing after another. I mean, this city is falling to shit, and what do they say? The emperor is fiddling while Rome burns. And Rome is burning, has been burning. We didn't learn anything with the A's, with the Warriors or the Raiders, and it shows it with the A's. And I know I'm not going to make a lot of friends by saying any of all this stuff, but it's the fucking truth. It's the thing that nobody wants to hear, and somebody has to say it. This, barring a small miracle or change of heart, is done. I have to make peace with that, and I hope maybe we can all make peace with it and find something else. I mean, there's so many thoughts that I have that I like, these questions. Why did the A's downgrade their plans in Las Vegas, but not in Oakland? Oakland was only, what can we do bigger, bigger, bigger? Why couldn't they just do a ballpark in Oakland? Could have been done already. The money would have been there. It'd have been easier. Things could have happened. And maybe then you can add in the smaller pieces, or the later development later. Where even still the development is over a period of 20 years. It's like, what? Focus on small pieces and not the giant project. And I think that probably scared a lot of people away. While these 3,000 units of housing and office space and everything else seemed like great ideas, they weren't going to happen on a timeline that was worthwhile, honestly. Come on. You'd build the ballpark, you'd build some development around it. You probably wouldn't touch the housing for 10, 15, 20 years. It would just sit there and languish, and that's the reality of it, because that's how a project like this should go. I mean, the Giants, have a similar project going on at Mission Rock. That building that's in the parking lot right now, I think it's done, or very close to done. But that ballpark's been there for 20 years. How long did it take? It's the reality is it was too much stacked against Oakland. They're incompetent. They're incompetent. They won't listen to anybody else. Only their ideas matter, and some of their ideas just frankly stunk. Oakland really needs to get its shit together in the fact that all these different people politicking against the next isn't helpful. You know, yeah, we all should have disagreements, basically. You know, it's like, hey, I think we can do it this way, or we should do it that way. But to have one say yes and one say completely no, then you just fight against each other and no progress ever happens. I mean, we see this in government all the time. It happens all the time. Where it really should have been, it's like, okay, we all agree this is a great idea. How do we make it happen? And that didn't happen. I mean, you had everybody fighting everybody. Where in Las Vegas, you got everybody going, hey, how can we make this project happen? Here in Oakland, you had everybody saying, how do we not make it happen? You know, you have the port businesses trying to kill the project. You have media interests trying to kill the project. You had outside, possibly, you know, it's not definitive, but there are guys who, you know, are connected with the Giants and who were connected in some of these lawsuits, to lawyers and such. So you got to wonder, it's like nobody wanted this to happen. I mean, in Las Vegas, I'm wondering that where does Mark Davis fit in this situation? Now, what if Mark Davis said, hey, kill this deal or else? I mean, I don't know what the or else would be, but I mean, does he have any pull? Does he want the A's as neighbors again? Or does he really not give a damn? Or is it just what it is? You know, it's one of those sort of situations. If he didn't want him there, does he have any pull? You know, but I don't think that really matters. They're going to do what they're going to do regardless of what anybody else thinks. You get an MLB team, you get an NFL team, you got your NHL team who's in the conference finals, you know, right now. NBA is definitely coming to take a look at Las Vegas. They were anyways. I mean, I think Vegas should have had an NBA team before they ever had a hockey team. They should have had one. I was there, and I believe it was 2007 when they had the All-Star game. I thought they did a great job on that. It was fantastic. I hate giving Las Vegas any sort of props, but they did it. They did it right. And Vegas has always been a great basketball town. They had some great years with UNLV. They supported them well. So, you know, it's kind of a no-brainer that the NBA would go there. Whether, again, happens through expansion or relocation, time will tell. But they're getting it. It's going to happen. And then that's just the reality of it. And Oakland's going to lose the A's. And, you know, again, the reality check here is Oakland doesn't operate like a big city. It doesn't want to operate like a big city. I don't know what the hell it wants to do, honestly. I think it wants everybody to just be poor. I don't honestly understand some of the ideas of gentrification, and that's always like the idea behind not doing this or that. Oh, it's going to gentrify. I'm like, what do we do? So are we saying that only poor people get to live somewhere? Or do we say that you only can be poor to live in Oakland? Like, what about job opportunities or housing? People criticize, oh, you're going to build these apartment buildings and it's only going to be rich people. I'm like, well, who the hell do you want to live there? So, it's like, you can't have anything here. It's weird. It's like such a weird idea. Like, yeah, we don't want to displace people who have been here for generations. But do we also want to subject these generations of people to the same quality of life that they had? It's probably less. I mean, what you could have done on a salary 30, 40, 50 years ago is so much less now. Back when my parents were older, I mean, my dad could buy a house on his little job. And it turned out he only made like $25,000 or $26,000 a year, somewhere around there, as a machinist for a lot of those years. My dad still bought a house and 2 new cars. He went on to bigger and better things, and he bought bigger and better houses and bigger and better cars. But you could do that back then. You can't do that now. You need two families making, 100,000 plus, combined, and that's hard. That's really hard to do, unless you've got multiple jobs, or you are in one of these nice skilled working, one of these skilled professions. It's and that's hard. And you to have like this idea that, hey, if you have some money, you can't live here anymore. It's like, but if those people stay, it's like no matter what the demographic changes. I've seen it a million times in Richmond. It's just there's always a group that's going to displace the next. And I think this is that's how progress works. And Oakland's not a city who wants to live with progress. They don't want progress. Progress is bad. If anybody with money comes in, bad. If we do anything that costs any money, bad. Everything's bad. And so you get what we have in Oakland. It's oh, and if you say anything about it, by the way, you're some racist, sexist, classist asshole. Well, fuck that idea. Fuck that. Not everything's going to be racist, classist, and sexist. Sorry, but if all you have is people with fewer opportunities, and you want to keep poor people poor, and you don't want to have those, you want to keep the schools run down, and you want to keep crime in the streets, and you don't want to have schools and libraries. What do you expect? I mean, isn't that the reality of it? And baseball is just a small piece of the pie. And a lot of the people who are for this ballpark were, it's bigger than baseball. Yeah, it is bigger than baseball, because I do believe that having a big project like this would have been great for Oakland. But that's just not going to happen. I don't see it happen. Again, minus a small miracle or a change of heart, I don't see it happening here. And whatever goes in there next will be a kick in the balls to everything that was planned there. It'll just probably be some low-income housing. Honestly, I don't even see that happening. It'll probably be more poor business. That's the reality of it. Nobody's got the money to do what the A's were going to do, and I don't think the A's have the money to do what they said they were going to do. Everybody's like, well, why can't we push up the timeline and all these other things? I'm like, that people don't understand how much work needed to be done on that just to make a ballpark happen there, and that was why Blue Wolf was against it in the first place. You got to do all that remediation there. You have to get all that toxic fill out. You have to basically buttress the whole thing and improve the structural integrity before you start building high rises and stadiums on it. That alone is going to take time, and we're talking like a year or two time. It's these things. Then you can start building a stadium, and depending on what that is, that could take another 2 to 3 years. So yeah, we're looking at 5 years. So I don't really understand why some of this stuff can't happen here, other than the fact that ego's got in the way. I don't think the A's have the money they think they have. I think they bit off more than they could chew here. Oakland itself is not organized and governed properly. There's no coalition here to make things happen. Who was ever sitting down with the port workers and the A's to try and bridge their concerns? Because it sounds like never happened. The A's never met with them, as far as I know. At least not on a realistic level. They may have been in the same room, but did they ever really go and hammer these things out? Because maybe that could have maybe that could have shored up some of the opposition. It's just little things like that, you know, where you have groups in Las Vegas who are, again, coming to the aid, basically. They're trying to make things happen. You know, I watched Zennie's stream a little earlier. You know, they're looking for a way to get to yes, and Oakland's always looking for a way to get to no. And yeah, but that's the reality check here. This 25 minutes is way too much time that I don't have to devote to this, but I got to get back to work. But yeah, that's just the reality of it. I don't see this happening. I just don't see it happening in Oakland. You know, and I appreciate everybody's positivity and wanting to look for holes in the armor here, but it's, I've seen it with the Raiders. Those weaknesses, they're only there by appearance. They don't really exist because they have the shield of, you know, a government that wants to get shit done, and businesses that want to make things happen. Even if they're competitors, they want to make things happen because your ballpark, even though it's at Bally's, doesn't mean everybody's staying at Bally's. Doesn't mean everybody's gambling at Bally's. Doesn't mean that everybody's shopping there. Doesn't mean everybody's eating there. You know, they might go Gordon Ramsay's across the street and stay at the Circus. Who knows? You know, all that money is everybody's money. And yeah, the A's screwed the pooch. We can sit here and go on and on about how, oh, they're going to count on this many fans. We said that about the Raiders. Does it matter? Yeah, you know, maybe they'll be looking back in 5 years and going, oh, we should have listened. Tough shit. Tough shit. It doesn't matter. We're still saying it, and we're going to say it in 5-10 years from now when this is all over with. And then, again, it doesn't matter. This is, I have to get it right. This is over with. I don't see them coming back to the table in Oakland, no matter what happens. I don't see them selling the team. I don't see any of that happening. It's you know, I honestly don't even see the owners voting this away. Even when the Raiders vote came up, man, we didn't expect 31 to 1. One no vote? One? We thought it would, if it passed at all, it would be barely 1 or 2 votes over. Not fucking one vote. So if there's something in it for all the other owners, I don't know. But when you look at relocation fees being waived, I don't know if they'd be happy with that, but maybe somebody would talk them into it. I don't see a Jerry Jones in this situation really helping move this along within the league. But you know, also if they have this deal done by then, they stay on the shared the profit sharing, or whatever they call it, revenue sharing. Like, this is tens of millions of dollars out of the pockets of the owners. In the case of a relocation fee, you know, $1 billion or $2 billion that they don't split. Who says no to that money? And again, this was the crux of the lawsuits against the NFL by Oakland, was that, you know, they want to enrich themselves, but does it matter? Do the things that baseball has? You know, they have their antitrust rules and stuff that they have. Like, that doesn't matter. I'm like, does it really? I mean, is that enforceable in a court? Can they say that these things didn't happen? You know, we already saw with the Raiders that, you know, their own bylaws and constitution, or whatever you want to call that thing, didn't matter at all. They were like, whatever, you know, policy isn't law, whatever, you know. So yeah, I'm gonna cut this short. I gotta get back to work, but yeah, I said that already. But I don't see it really changing. and I don't know. I kind of should stay off of Twitter just for my own mental health, but you know, it's the reality of the situation. It's not going to get better. It's not going to change. If things are going to keep steamrolling, and again, minus a change of heart, or you know, this failing somehow, I don't see it coming back to Oakland. And even if it did fail in Las Vegas, I really feel like Oakland is not even next in line. I just don't. You know, I think we really screwed the pooch. Anyways, guys, it's Richard Haick with Zennie62. I'll see you guys later.